Hello, and welcome to the Chic Family Craftsman home. This is a long-running project and is a bonus video as a part of my farewell. Full disclosure, the master bathroom and closet along with the basement are not decorated, while the entire main level and most of the upstairs is fully complete. The reason why I'm posting it in its current state is because this project is among the highest caliber of those I have made and takes full advantage of my current building and decorating abilities. While I have no intention of completing it, I think it would be a shame to never let it see the light of day, hence this upload. I'm calling this a bonus video for many reasons, the biggest being that it isn't finished. It is also not featuring a tour or fly-through shots, so the video itself is not of the same cinematic worth as my others. It is also only one part instead of being a full series. And it is my last voiceover since I will be present during the speed build section. Floor plans and all footage of my building process are included in case anyone wishes to rebuild this. The house itself is pretty straightforward, a 5-bedroom, 4.5-bath, upscale suburban home with a proper dining room and office, 3-car garage, covered back deck, basement rec room, and large backyard. For thoughts about the build, stay tuned for the voiceover during the speed build. Thank you. Hello, and surprise! Bet you didn't expect this. If you're completely new here and have no idea what's going on, I have spent 11 months not doing anything, and then I finally uploaded remaining parts of a neighborhood speed build and announced that I was quitting, and then here I am with a brand new project. So what's up here? Well, for one, this house has been in the works since my first clip is from February 20th, 2024. So it's been in the works for a really long time, and I just added up all of the footage for the description of this, and there's 10 hours, 7 minutes, and 42 seconds of footage, which is not even a finished house. I still have a whole basement, bedroom, or bathroom and closet. So yeah, there's a lot of footage here, and I didn't want it to go to waste. So I have 10 hours of footage, so I'm gonna use it. So instead of spending more hours to finish this, I figured I'd just upload it as it is. It's a nice little extra, if nothing else, as a last voiceover. So if those of you that actually do listen to these, you have a nice little longer one. I will not be here the full 2 hours. I don't have that in me. It's already past 10, which is not really that late, but I am starting school this Friday, and it is Monday when I'm recording this, so I need to get my sleep schedule fixed, otherwise I will be screwed. So yeah, I figured I would stay here for a little while, talk about this house, because I truly love this house. This house was made with nothing but love. I started on this house. I was still working on the Craftsman mountain home when I started this. I had both of these going simultaneously, so if you watch, you're going to notice a lot of similarities, but I wanted to make this one different and stand out in its own right. The Craftsman mountain home was me taking more risks and doing something different. This is me applying the same knowledge and experience that I'd gained from that on something that I'm more comfortable with. If you take one look at my page, and I've done a lot of suburban homes. They're my thing. So I wanted to apply the more detailed and specific individual space-driven idea of building with this house. And I've had my eye on this reference for a while now. It's the HGTV Smart Home 2020, I think. Again, it's been a year and a half since I started this. And my last clip is actually from August of 2024. So I had been working on this house for quite some time. Not only just time in length, but time in how do I phrase this? Not only like elapsed total time, but just across a period of time. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, this house, it is, if it was completely finished, it would have been like the build to have. It is. I know that every single build at this point that I do is like, this is a culmination of everything that I've done up until this point, but I like improving. I'm an improvementist. I'm making up words here, but you know what I mean. I love to look at what I've done in the past and say, this sucks, I can do it better, and then I do it better. I like the feeling of achievement and reward and growth. That's really up my alley. So this house, it's just pulling out all the stops. Advanced placement, transform plus, using those to the best of my ability. Multiple floors basement, because you know I love a good basement backyard. My improved landscaping abilities. And I was originally going to do no trees around the plot, and then it looked weird, so I gave in and went back to my roots. But heck, I even played with color. Like, I've been a grayscale builder for years, and this house, the Craftsman Mountain Home, taught me to use color, and this one I feel like is a little bit more neutral and toned back. Because I used a lot of blues and greens in the Craftsman Mountain Home, along with the beiges and browns. And this one I did a little bit of a maroon on the back porch, if you saw in those screenshots, which they go by quite fast, I know. I wanted to make sure I could get them all in, and I did not speak very long at the beginning, so yeah, about that. But I mean, this house, it was always just on the back burner because I was working on the Craftsman Mountain Home. I had to get that one finished. I was working on this one after that for the entire rest of that semester and going into that summer. And it took a while. I spent 10 hours on this house, and I still have an entire floor to do. Like, this house would have been pushing 12 or 15 by the end. So actually, let me look that up, because I'm interested to see how long I spent on that neighborhood. I spent 14 hours on the neighborhood. Okay. So yeah, for reference, I would have spent about the same amount of time on this house if it was finished as my entire neighborhood. So I wanted to make sure this was done right. And this, I feel like it is. I'm going to move the microphone away a little bit, because I feel like I'm probably screaming right now. But yeah, I just wanted to post it how it is, and yeah. There's not a lot of like current recent inside knowledge of this, because I haven't worked on this house in a year, and I started it well over a year ago, so I don't know. But I mean, going through looking at screenshots, I'm like, I'm proud of this. I haven't done any building since then, but I don't hate it now, so that's a win. I liked that every time I would take a screenshot of progress, I was happy with it, because usually when I take screenshots, that's when the builder's remorse sets in, and I look at what I've done and I'm like, this is it? Like, this is what you're posting? But with this house, I took progress pics pretty much every step along the way, except for the living room, because when I was going through to make this video, I'm like, where are my living room screenshots? So I had to actually go into the game and take screenshots. And I'm lazy. I didn't want to do that. But yeah, I would ask what your favorite part about the house is, but I didn't do a tour because, again, I'm lazy. But I'm going to mask all of this over with the term bonus video. It's not intended to be a main video. Because if it was, I would have finished it. I would have done a tour. I would have done cinematics. It would have been a 3 or 4 part video. But it's not, so it isn't. But, oh, my sleep thing's going on. So it's set for 10:15. Okay, because you'll see in the farewell that will be posted like an hour or so after this. My sleep thing goes off on my computer. And it's set for 10:15. So now I know. I don't really know what much to talk about with this. Because I'm just doing the outside for now. But, I mean, we're 10 minutes in, so at 5 times speed... Well, actually, I'm 9 minutes in on the recording. But, say, at 5 times speed, we're approaching in 40 minutes, 50 minutes in. And this is how much house I've done. So, like, for context, in the past, I've built an entire house in an hour. So... yeah, and this house is expensive, too. I need to go check to see what the actual price is. It's in the farewell video, because I'm doing this so out of order, because this is posted before the farewell video that I'm spoiling, because it's meant to be a surprise of like, oh, new build, what? And then, I thought he was quitting, and then 3 hours later, oh, he is quitting. But I'm doing this out of order because I've been recording all of the stuff for the farewell, which is going to be quite a video. It is a video of all time. If you're interested, it will be posted the same day as this. But I look through all of my Bloxburg plots. I actually do a deeper look in this, so if you want to see more, like an actual fly-through, because I go through it in free cam. But I tour all of my Bloxburg plots and talk about them. I wanted it to be more of a behind the scenes, like what really went on, because I feel like at this point, when I'm leaving, it's like, what am I to lose by showing you my video stuff folder, where I have all of my old banners and profile pictures and banners, and I thought it would just be fun to look through some of those things. I looked through my YouTube studio page, old screenshots that I have, and it was trying to be more like a nostalgia thing. So if you've been here a while, it's like, oh, I remember this. But if you haven't been here a while, you can see that my first profile picture was awful, and it was horrendous. But I had a lot of fun recording it, and I had fun making the video. So if you're interested, that will be posted later. But you're here for this video, so we're going to talk about this house. I have been insecure about my Bloxburg abilities for 3 years now. 2 years if we want to count this house where it was. And I had gotten to the point by, January, February of 2024, where I was like, you know what? I'm tired of feeling like my projects just don't hold up compared to others. So I really sat down and was like, what can I do better? And it was just the individual, like as a whole, everything was put together, but any individual screenshots that I took, they didn't really hold up by themselves. So I did the move of everything was by a picture from Pinterest, and I would have a whole folder, and that would be the house, and I would just recreate each picture to the best of my ability. And I did take some liberties. Most of these are multiple references that piece together, because I am picky and I couldn't find just one single picture that would work. And if you're rebuilding, I'm going to tell you now, don't even bother complaining about the structurals. Because I had to deal with them first, and I had to figure out how to make them work. So don't waste your time being like, ooh, why does he keep redoing the structurals? I had to deal with them first. And that's my biggest gripe with the Craftsman mountain home, because every now and then I'll get a comment that's like, oh, this roof, why is it so hard? Quit redoing the roof. And I'm like, y'all don't realize that I had to build the roof first, and I was the one that had to figure out how to make it work. So, I don't want to hear it. So those just, every time I get one of those, I'm like, you don't even know what you're talking about. But that's just the petty part of me. I've been thinking about, and I've probably already done it just on impulse, but after like I'm officially done of going back to some just like pointless and mean comments and just responding to them. Might not do that, might do that, I don't know. But now I'm doing a window, and windows are always fun. You know, I came to this video thinking that it was going to be something different than I've done in the past, but I'm doing custom windows, I'm making a fake window, I'm doing roof, I'm doing siding. I mean, it's nothing exciting here. And usually it would be a big gap between a new video, so I'd talk about where I'd been, but I already did that in part 2 of the neighborhood. No, I don't know. I just wanted to be here because I wanted to. Ever since I recorded part 2 of the neighborhood and got those parts posted, I've been feeling, really ever since I was like, you know what, I am done with this. I've been feeling really nostalgic, and have been going back and looking at my old videos. I've listened to several of my voiceovers, and I think they hold up a lot better now than I thought they would. Like when I was recording them, I was like, this is horrible. This is not going to hold up at all. Then I go back and listen to it, and I'm like, this has charm. I can see where I've grown as a person, and grown with how comfortable I am recording. Because in those first few videos, I'm like, your voice is shaking, but that is because you are shaking out of anxiety. So, like now, I'm completely fine. I am, if anything, I'm calmer than I would be just sitting here. It's therapeutic in a way. And, you know, every time, like, even the last recording that I did, and recording the farewell video, that I was like, I'm gonna miss this, like what am I gonna do instead? And then I realized I haven't done this for 11 months, I'll be fine. At least when I wasn't posting anything, there was always the ability that like I could come back to it if I wanted to. But now that I'm actually doing an official, I'm done, I really can't go back. Otherwise I'd pull a Tom Brady and be like, oh, I actually didn't retire. But that's lame. So, yeah, I don't know. I've been toying around with the idea of making a new Instagram account because I deleted my old one. And just posting pictures of stuff that I've done. So it's not a full video, not having to record speed builds, because the recording part of it is such a hassle. Of every single time I'm sitting down to do something, hit record, make sure I have enough storage on my hard drive, make sure it's going to the right spot in my hard drive. Recording, making sure, checking periodically to making sure it's still recording, getting it to the right spot, making sure everything's intact. And then that constant pressure of feeling like I need to do something quicker, or if I can't mess up on something, because then there'll be Bloxburg Best Builder 12 in the comments of quit redoing stuff, why are you redoing stuff? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I make mistakes. So there's that, and I was just like, you know what, I don't know if I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, yeah, like the hassle of recording. So, yeah, I think, I don't know, because right now I am, well, like last week, I was kind of back into Bloxburg. I was making the, I've started on like another new build or two, just something to work on in my free time. And then this week, even though it's Monday, like I haven't worked on those in a few days. Granted, I wasn't home, but now that I am home, it's like I don't really want to get on there. So, yeah, I don't know. But let me know if you are interested in me bringing that back. Because if I do, I will like link it, make a community post or something. I will make sure that you can find it if you are interested. But yeah, let me know if I should do that, because I wouldn't mind that. That's a lot less work. It's easier to not post something. So I feel like with YouTube there's a certain, like if you don't post for a while, it's a little bit easier to just not do something on there. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, looking back when I'm trying not to do this as a just talking about the farewell the entire time, but that's all I've done with this recently. And it's also like, what's the point of watching that video if I'm only going to talk about it in this one? But I realized looking back that I'm a lot harder on myself in the moment than I am looking back. Because all of my old builds that I would get frustrated at in the moment and just be frustrated that I couldn't do more with it. Brutalist Modern Home, for example. That house, I liked it in the moment, and then I was like, what are you doing here? This isn't, you can do better than this. And then the video didn't perform, and I was like, well, no wonder, it looks like crap. And then when I went back and toured it again, I'm like, this is fine. Why was I so hard on myself? I will chalk that up to being 15 and hating myself, because that was a thing. It is quite funny though that the most active I was on doing YouTube was when I was the least happy. So that's interesting. Ever since I kind of fell off of it, you've only really got like 5 or 6 videos of, like, it's either the uploads are strong or my mental health is strong, and it's like you can't have one without the other. But we're good now. Took a while, but I'm good. Man, I spent a while on the outside of this house. So yeah, I'm trying to think of what to talk about, because it's, at least before, when I would do smaller videos, I could talk about like what I didn't talk about in the tour, or like after finishing the whole house, and then I would have a few days to recuperate and have like more thoughts to talk about in the next video. But yeah, I could mention the Discord server, because if any of you that were in the server are watching this, first off I want to apologize, because I was far less active than I should have been. From really by like mid 2024, I was pretty much non-existent on that, and I would come back every now and then, but I mean, for the most part, really nothing of note happened, so it's like I could be inactive and there was no worry. But then I came back to it, and like the entire thing was messed up, and apparently someone, like one of the mods, their account got hacked, and then someone came in and changed the server, which I'm like, why are you messing with my building server? Don't you have better things to do in your time than hack my Bloxburg YouTube building server? Like, this speaks worse about you than it does me. But I was coming in to be like, I'm deleting this server because there's no use for it anymore. And it just came back, and I was like, well, no sense in this. I just gotta get rid of it. So I want to apologize about that. I should have been more proactive in making sure everything was in order. But it's just another sign that probably shouldn't have been doing that for so long. But 2023, it was good while it lasted. I feel like for a lot of Bloxburg YouTubers, there's like a year that's truly their heyday. Like Lucaocast, for example, because I talked about him a good bit in some of my old voiceovers. Big inspiration of mine. Not so much now, but definitely back then. And I feel like that 2021 and then like early 2022 was kind of the heyday of his. And maybe that's just because that's when I was watching fresh builds coming back. But his builds after structurals and basic shapes were added, Like that to me was the peak. Like the big farmhouse and mountain home that came out around the same time before the ski chalet. If you know what I'm talking about, great. If you don't, yeah. So I'm doing the backyard, and I didn't really know what I was doing with this. This clip, let's see, we are on, that is clip 1, that is 2, we are on clip number 3, so by this point, I'm at February 25th, so this has been, I did the first one on the 20th, then I did 2 on the 25th, and then I did 2 in March, then, okay, so I worked on this late February, early March, and then I didn't come back to it till June, and then I worked on it June and July, and then 1 in August, and I stopped. August 2nd. So basically as soon as I started school, I stopped doing anything related to this because I was putting my efforts into finishing the neighborhood because I was going to delete it. And then I was like, I've already spent so much time on this. I need to just get it done. Which unfortunately meant this had to take a back seat. So I am the biggest idiot among idiots. This is day 2 of recording this because I stopped because I was going nowhere with that voiceover. It was hopeless. I didn't stop to re-record because I'm lazy, but this is take 2 because I just recorded for almost 7 minutes, but my microphone has a button on it where you can mute it, and when because I unplugged it to give me some room on my desk. When I plugged it back in, I didn't hit the button to unmute it. And one of the few things that iMovie does have is it shows the little dots for like your voice, like how loud you're being, that whole thing. And I had noticed that it was staying at just nothing the entire time I was speaking. And usually it has green, and then if I start to talk a little louder, like it starts to go up and then it goes back down again, and now it's down. And I realized that there was no dots, there was no bars. And then I look down and I see the little microphone icon lit up red, and it's so tragic because I had just spent 7 minutes talking about how I met with an actual architect today and like how I'm feeling very rejuvenated and I'm actually interested in the profession again because I've kind of fallen out of it and I was considering other things like electrical engineering. I'm not going to talk about all of that again because I just spent 7 minutes doing it. It's fine. I'm not upset. I was working on the back of the house. I'd completely landscaped everything. This is so sad and hopeless. But long story short, I met with someone who works and does architecture, design and build for this one large construction company that they've got offices like all over the country. And long story short, she basically does everything from like creating the building in a 3D modeler, doing all of the structural work, picking out all of the fixtures and design choices. And apparently that job exists because I had written off architecture as a profession because I'm like, I would love to do the full process, and there's just nothing like that out there. And now it's like, it does exist. I could potentially do that. So going into actually applying for college and all of that on the horizon, I'm actually considering that again, which is fun. Because if I did any other sort of engineering, I'm sure I would enjoy it, but this has always been my passion. Heck, I started a YouTube channel over it, so I gotta enjoy it somewhat. And I had just started to talk about how I'm going into my senior year now. At the time you're listening to this, I start tomorrow because I go back on Friday for some reason, which is nice. You get a first day and then a weekend because that makes sense. I also talked about how I say a lot, and my world history teachers say all great responses start with So yeah, I made fun of myself for doing that for a little bit. I talked about the Tour de France for no apparent reason, and so that's where we're at. So now I'm caught up, and I've done that in half the time. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, I will pick up where I left off before I stopped recording because I realized I was muted. But when I first started posting on YouTube, there wasn't, like, I had no following. I started with 1 subscriber, and that was my actual Google account and like my YouTube account that I watch stuff on. Because believe it or not, I wanted to keep my professional stuff and my personal stuff separated, which, I mean, it makes sense. So I actually have 2 Google accounts, and I have 1 account that I use solely to post everything, and then I have another account which I watch everything on, and that's the account that I had my YouTube Premium for, which I used to use YouTube Music, and I switched to Apple Music in February, I think, because I'm an avid Spotify hater. I have no shame. Everyone always is like, Spotify's the best. It's really not. I want to use a music app that doesn't look like a social media page. Apple Music just has better quality anyways. You can use lossless audio, Dolby Atmos. And I just like the simplified design of it. Plus the seamlessness because I use an iMac, I have an iPad, I have an Apple Watch. It just connects across them better. And I had only switched, because I started using Spotify in 2022, about the same time that I started posting on YouTube. I was just like, you know what, I want to get back to listening on music, and I will not be using Prime Music, because Amazon Music is horrible. That's what I was using before. It is bad. So I switched. I finally was like, you know what, I watch enough YouTube, I'll pay for premium, and I get music with it for free. So why not? So I started using YouTube Music, because Spotify, after my premium free trial ended, I was like, this sucks, this is horrible, I hate this. And it was fine when I had the premium free trial. It was just like, what am I using here? So switch YouTube, because it's like, I think as a total it's like $4 more a month for without ads and like all of the YouTube Premium stuff, as opposed to just a YouTube Music Premium subscription. I don't know. So I've been using that, and then I switched to Apple Music in February because YouTube Music Shuffle is horrible. I'm the type of person that I have one big playlist with a lot of songs on it, and I'm actually going to talk about this as I pull up my playlist. We'll use the one I actually listen to, because I have one that has everything on it, but then I have like my personal, like, this is my preferred stuff. I have 344 songs on it. It's 21 hours and 46 minutes. And I just have one big playlist. And I'm the type of person that when I find an artist that I like, we will use Linkin Park, for example, because I'm a huge Linkin Park fan, if you didn't know. And I will just sit down and listen to their entire discography. And just when I hear a song that I'm like, yeah, I like this, I will add it to my playlist. So of my 344 songs, probably 80 of them are Linkin Park. I know I have like 70 from Muse. I have a ton from Paramore, Avril Lavigne, Evanescence. If you haven't noticed, I like rock, punk rock, hard rock, Muse I mentioned. So yeah, where was I going? Oh, and just YouTube Music. I've been there since, like, it's gotten better since I started using it, but I finally was just like, there's better things out here. I don't have to live like this. And I did a free trial of Apple Music because I used to use iTunes back in like 2012. And I always had fond memories of that, so I'm like, you know what? We're going to relive the glory days. And I actually switched my subscription to that after the free trial ended. Because I was like, I actually like this better. The audio quality is better. The shuffle works better. It's picking up where you left off. Like, you close the app out, you come back in, and the song is in the same spot you left it. Meanwhile, if I do that, YouTube Music cleared out my entire queue. So it's just better, and I refuse to go back to Spotify because, oh my gosh, my Duolingo's back. That's the second voiceover in a row that my Duolingo has interrupted me. And you know what? Practice by midnight to keep your 565-day streak going. I will practice when I get there. I have 2 hours left. So yeah, did that, and you know, where am I going with this? I feel like stuff as meaningless as music services are not, like the whole phone war of Apple versus Android. All of that stuff is so stupid. Why do people want to argue about that? And I somehow faced a lot of backlash for using YouTube Music. I mean, I know why, because it's YouTube Music, but that's not really a reason. And all of the Spotify fans are going to be face palming when they're like, I left it for Apple Music. But I mean, it's a music player. Who cares? If it's like the same people that would start arguments in the Discord server. You're starting an argument in a building-based, like, Roblox game server. Don't you have better things to do in your time? So yeah, I feel like Apple Music is a little more acceptable mainstream than YouTube is. Not that I care about that, but, or anymore at least. But there's always that to consider. I'm doing these stairs now. I absolutely love this staircase. This is, I recreated this one for one with the actual house, or at least I tried to. And I love me a good staircase that goes to the main floor and the basement that are right on top of each other. And I really wanted to like cover up the stairs underneath, because before I would just leave the bottom exposed, but this I actually wanted to make it look good. So I spent some time, and if you're rebuilding this, don't even think about complaining about the structurals, because I was fighting. Look at me fighting with them. It's horrible. I had to get Transform Plus in here, and it still wasn't working. So don't even bother to complain, because I had to suffer through it first. Oh, that's what I was talking about. I was trying to figure out why I was on some big tangent about my music app, but it's because my YouTube app, like, I have a different account that I use YouTube with, and like the Jackitecture account, I'm not even logged in on it on my phone. It's only on my computer, and like I even have to sometimes sign in on that because it'll be my personal one on there. And so yeah, I don't know why I was talking about that. I was talking about that because going to senior year pressure, that type thing. I know where I was at. This is what happens. I think of something that I'm going to talk about, and then I go on a tangent for like 12 minutes. No, we're 12 minutes in total, like 3 minutes. And then we come back and I didn't remember what I was talking about to begin with. But when I first started posting, it was never really like a pressure thing because I had no audience. So if I went without posting a video, it was like, who cares? My 3 subscribers, two of them are actual people. One of them is just me. And that was my personal account. That's how I got there. Okay. So yeah, when I first started out, I had 1 subscriber, and that was my actual account. That way, whenever a video would go through, because I used to just post them, and I didn't know, because I had terrible internet. So I never knew how long it would take to actually upload the video. So I was subscribed to myself, and I had notifications on. That way my phone would notify me that, hey, video's uploaded. I am no longer subscribed to myself because I feel like I'm at the point where I don't really need that anymore. Plus, I went so long without uploading, it's like, what's the point? But yeah, So when I first started out, it's like you don't really, if you go a bit without posting, nobody's gonna care. But as I slowly started to gain a following, and I had the beautiful plan of I would make a house, I would split out the parts by a week. I used to post every Saturday at 2 p.m. I think, and it would always work out that the bigger I would do a big project and I would have 3 weeks worth of uploads, and in those 3 weeks I would work on my next project. So by the time the 3 uploads were done, I could post the next one. And I kept that pretty going. Like, I had weekly uploads or almost weekly uploads for quite a bit there. And it just happened to work out that way. And as I started to take more breaks in between, I started to spend more time on builds, and it just became, I will finish a build when I finish it, and then I will post the parts when I can. But that slowly became like, if I would go a while without building, it'd be like, I gotta like work on something so I can post something because it's been a while. And when I was actually working on a project, it's like you gotta work on this and finish it, that way you can upload it because it's been a while. And that was ultimately the case with this house, which is, it's taken me 15 minutes, but we've come back full circle to what I wanted to talk about. And this house was just taking me a lot longer than I wanted to. I mean, I have 10 hours and 7 minutes of footage. Like, this is quite a lot. And I gave up on this to finish the suburban neighborhood because that neighborhood was far closer to being done, and because I was like, okay, I need to get something posted, that way I can post the neighborhood parts, and by the time I'm done with those, this will be done so I can post it. But junior year happened and it didn't come to fruition. So even though I'm in the position now that I'm going to have more free time, I'm glad that I'm finally just calling it quits with this, which I know I've only talked about quitting this entire time. But, I mean, it's happening. I got nothing else to talk about. But there was just that subtle weight on my shoulders, and it was always in my subconscious that I still had a remaining part to post, or a video that I should finish uploading. That's the same thing. Or a house that I should finish. And I'm glad that it's finally done. Which I've had that weight again because I've been working on this and the farewell video for going on a week now. It took quite a bit of time to edit the farewell video together, and this one, iMovie took so long to process all of these parts, and then I had Monday is when I first recorded this, because I put this video together and the farewell video, I kind of finished it up on Monday. And then Tuesday I had friends over all day, and then I had my open house and meeting my teachers on that night. Then I had to go to bed earlier because I was working today, and then I met with that architect that I mentioned, and then now I'm here. So shout out to the mini fridge that is up here in this room. It is my friend. It is my recurring guest on these, and I can't tell you how many times there's a video or a voiceover or a commentary, and you'll just hear that fridge kick on. I have no idea why I'm so bad at speaking. I can be perfectly fine, and then I just stumble up every single word possible. Welcome to my life. I can't speak. I get tongue-tied. But yeah, my fridge has always been a guest, and it's fitting that it's here, because this wouldn't be a voiceover without it. And it probably went off in the early one, because that thing, it goes off so often. Welcome to me making the garage. I thought I wanted it to be dark. Wait, I'm done with the outside. Does this mean I'm gonna start decorating? Yes, finally, something interesting is gonna happen. Only 45 minutes later. You can tell how old this is because all of the Bloxburg UI is the same. Wait, 564,000. I definitely just deleted something because I feel like I had either deleted something or was working on something because my money was not that before. But I can't see what it was before, so that's sad. I probably deleted something, if I was to guess. But yeah, you see where I was avoiding the trees, and now I'm like, you know what? Forget it. I'm putting trees around this plot. So yeah. But yeah, my fridge is back. I'm pretty sure I was still talking about the subconscious pressure of like how I'm glad to be done with that. Oh, because the farewell video. Yeah, I am always, I was, in the farewell video, going to include, well, why am I talking about this? I keep forgetting that this video is going to be posted before, because I have spent the entire time making the farewell video, and then I've been making this in the background, when I have the chance. Y'all better like that farewell video, because I've sure talked it up a lot. I did it really for myself, because I am very sentimental, and I love that whole kind of thing of whenever someone looks back at like their work of, especially like a YouTuber or something, where they look back at what they used to do and talking about like doing a retrospective on it and giving their thoughts on it, or like behind the scenes stuff of, okay, this is what really happened back then. I love that kind of stuff, and that's always the kind of thing that I was like, okay, I will do this later if I like have more success. And now that I'm wrapping this up, I was just like, you know what? I am going to make this special, if for myself, for nobody else. If nobody watches it, that'll be fine, because I enjoyed making it, and I will always have it there if I want to go back and look at it. So, yeah. I will give you a spoiler, because I'll probably post this at like 2 p.m. And then the farewell, before I recorded this, I went into YouTube and it is fully uploaded and saved, so I don't have to worry about that. I just have to make sure this video gets exported before then. But that will be posted at 4 p.m. on the 31st, and this should be up before then. I don't know when. But I don't know what I was talking about before. You know, maybe it's glad that I'm not doing this anymore. It's glad. What am I even saying? This is... Ugh. You would think after 2.5 years of recording voiceovers, I would finally be good enough to maintain a simple thought, but no. I'm pretty sure I recorded my forced. This is, you know, this is a perfectly authentic, because you know those content creators that it's like everything is super staged, and they like clip it together at the best shot, or like they set everything up to make it look so perfect, and you're like, ugh, why am I not perfect like them? Just me. This is, you get to feel better about yourself when you listen to this, because I am in shambles as well. I am not put together in the slightest. But yeah, oh, that's what I was gonna mention. I typically schedule my videos to upload during the summer on weekends or Wednesday, and weekends during the school year, because like I mentioned in the suburban neighborhood voiceover, the part 2 if you watched it, I got basically I don't want to say outed, that's not the right word, not doxed either, but I got exposed for doing YouTube in my US history class. Thank you, Colin, for that. Much appreciated. And like ever since then, I've just, well, even before then, because I also got doxxed, exposed, whatever. Smaller group, just a group of couple of people in my world history class. So ever since then, I've always been paranoid about when I upload, because if one of them happens to have notifications on and they see I post a video at marching band practice or during the school day, you're like, hey, Jack posted it, and then bam, now a whole bunch more people know that I do this. And, you know, it's all fun and games doing this, like doing this by myself, posting it if you're watching it, but it's when there's the idea of Jack post Roblox house videos, that's not very cool. It doesn't have a good ring to it. And I try to phrase it, I'm like, oh, I just used the program to do the architectural work. It's not actually Roblox, it's based on The Sims. But that's just to make myself feel better. But yeah, it's no biggie. We're good now. I didn't have to worry about, well, I actually posted all of those videos before on a Friday and a Saturday. That was deliberate, and this is going up Wednesday, but they don't have marching band practice. It's not going up Wednesday, it's going up Thursday. Today's Wednesday. I'm a mess. I'm a train wreck. I've had almost 18 years to put myself together, and I'm falling apart still. But you know what? If I was a character in a TV show or a movie, the amount of character development is actually kind of insane. Freshman year, if you got an adjective, I got a lot. Very, very isolated, and I'm already an introverted person as is, and my schedule happened to where I had classes with basically none of my friends. There were people I knew in my classes, but all of my close friends were in different ones. And instead of meeting new people, I didn't want to become friends with the people in the back of my health class that would smoke weed. That's not the kind of people that I wanted to be friends with. So, yeah, I was pretty antisocial, and I mean, that semester was when I started YouTube, so it was kind of, I would do my thing at school and just kind of stay away from everybody, and then I would go home and I would work on this, and I would pour my energy into this because I actually had some kind of fulfillment with it. And then my second semester freshman year, which is the early 2023s, like the Craftsman Mountain Home, the Chic Modern Farmhouse, very, very anxious, very depressed, very lonely, but not for the reason I was thinking. I just felt very, and I've always, not always, well, actually, yes, I've always been like a very, even from when I was a child, like I'm a very skinny person. I have the illusion of looking taller than I am because of my proportions, if that makes sense. When you look at me from a distance, it's like, oh, he's kind of tall, and then you get up on me and it's like, oh, you're actually not very tall. But I've always been, body dysmorphia, that's the word. I've always been like very insecure about how I look in that aspect, and that was really shining through in that semester. And what else is there? Burnout, obviously. I mean, heck, I took like a 3-month break from YouTube. Or it was, yeah, because I posted in March-ish, early April, and I came back in June. So I took like a 2-month break there. I was feeling burnout with this and burnout just with everything in general. So that was kind of a low point for me. But my sophomore year, I tried to work against that, and last year, like my junior year, was awesome. With the exception of December and January. There are reasons why that was absolutely horrible, but it's all good now. I I am happy to say that I am happy again. Hooray. And it's just, I'm glad that I have all these old voiceovers on here that I can go back and listen to, that when I'm associating something with like a certain time period of my life, I have a voiceover from back then where I can go and listen and remember, like, listen back, and it's like, okay, what was I talking about that back then? Like, or seeing a video in March, and it's like, okay, this is what was going on, and listening to me. You get what I'm saying? This is, I said this in my very first voiceover, I think, but this is the worst part about doing these voiceovers, is I have no idea if you understand what I'm saying or not, because I am talking to my computer, watching myself build something from July of 2024. Because this is what my life has come to. This is what it's always been. I'm not sure how large the amount of people that have actually wanted to do Bloxburg YouTube at some point. I suspect there's more people than I would think. That makes sense. To phrase that differently, however many I think would be interested in doing Bloxburg YouTube, there's probably more than that. Because I know, or like that I've met, of a lot of people would love to do this kind of thing, but they either think their building skills aren't good enough, or that it's like, I don't have the energy for this, or I don't have the skills for this, or it's not for me. And my advice to any of you that are considering doing this is, I don't care. Like, whatever excuse you have, doesn't matter. Just go for it. It's not just going to magically happen unless you actually do it. And that was really what I needed to hear when I first started this. Because I had wanted to, I made the channel in February 2022, and lore drop, I had actually posted a single speed build. I don't have the file anymore. I wish I did, but I got rid of it. So back in, it had to be like September of 2021. I had actually, this is a very embarrassing moment for me, but I don't ever gotta talk to you again, so I don't care. But in fall of 2021, I had committed to starting on YouTube, and I didn't know how to screen record on my MacBook yet, and I still kind of played on my iPad still, but I recorded a speed build of it was like an 18,000 no Game Pass house, and I accidentally hit the advanced placement icon for like half the speed build, so it wasn't even no Game Pass, even though I still claimed it was. But I posted that no Game Pass cottage, or whatever it was called, under the YouTube name of Simple Speed Builds. Because I was like, you know what? Things are too complicated. I'm gonna make it simple. I'm Simple Speed Builds. And I think the video got like 16 views. And there was one person that commented and was like, I like Simple Speed Builds. And I was like, well, perfect, because I'm gonna be uploading another one next week. And next week rolled around and I didn't have one. Like, I was still working on it because I couldn't, like, the planning wasn't working and the build wasn't going right. So I panicked and deleted the channel. So Simple Speed Builds is gone. It's into the void. But the channel being made in February 2022, I'd gone like a solid 5 months after the whole Simple Speed Builds incident. And there was no voiceover. It was screen recorded on an iPad. So that shows you the level of quality it was. So after that whole incident, I got really I really overthought a lot of things that came with YouTube. I knew I wanted to do it, and now that I think about it, I started watching YouTube, like, aside from a single video here and there, like, I actually committed to it in January of 2021. So with less than a year of starting up, I had actually made my first post. And it's actually on the same Google account of Jackitecture, is just simple speed builds in spirit, at least. But I remade another channel on this account in February of 2022, and I'd gotten better at building. I had given up on the whole simple idea because I realized that's sustainable is not the word. It's not really doable for me, because I want to push myself to grow. And for one thing, I started doing like really simple builds because my internet was horrible, and I knew that video longer than like 10 minutes just wasn't going to upload. But I was like, you know what, I can do multiple parts. I would rather build something that I'm happier with than do something that's not really going to last and that I'm going to get bored of. Because I can only make a Game Pass home a couple of times before I get bored. But I remade the channel in February, and if you're interested in all of like this pre-YouTube and early YouTube stuff, I talked about it in the second half of the Contemporary Mediterranean Home Part 2. And actually, let me find a pen. I'm going to write down, we're at 102. I'm going to come back to this when I upload it tomorrow, which will be today when you're seeing this. And I'm going to put the little card up in the right hand corner, so if you want to go watch that video, it will be there. So yeah, in that video I talked a lot about just my before YouTube, starting out, that whole thing. I don't know what I talked about much more other than that, but I discussed that a bit, but I did not talk about simple speed builds. I haven't disclosed this since it happened. I think it lasted like 4 days, and then I deleted it out of panic. I don't think I had any subscribers. So when I mean that every time I say that I've far surpassed my wildest dreams, simple speed builds was the reference of if I could get anything that would have been better than my first try. Granted, 3 years is a little longer than 4 days, but still. What I've been saying is I started this out, but I didn't really know what to name it, because a lot of people have, like, their channel name is just their Roblox username of something they came up with them when they were 8. But like the whole usernames where the people are XX underscore I blush clouds underscore XXI. That is not me in any shape or form. If you want to do that, go for it. But I don't think I could take myself seriously if I did that, and I would then really get made fun of for having a Roblox YouTube channel if my name was like XX underscore butterflies. Can't even take myself seriously talking about it. But I really just could not figure out a name to save my life. We eventually landed on Jackitecture because I was just sitting there like, architecture, what could I do to play off of that? My name is Jack, what could I do with that? That kind of rhyme. Jack sounds like architecture, Jackitecture, close enough. It works. And then I pitched the idea to my sister, and she doubled over laughing, and I was like, yep, Jackitecture it is. This is absolutely horrible, I love it. So now that the name was decided, I figured that out in like May or June, and it was just a matter of getting my first video of, because I made a house. I had made several houses, before the Suburban Craftsman that I recorded. Most of them, my computer ran out of storage halfway through, or I lost interest in the project, or I either said, no, this is not good enough, or in the case of the one right before the Suburban Craftsman, it was just so super detailed. And I don't know if he still posts anymore, but right before I started posting, the builder Describe, the E is a 3, so it's like D3 Scribe, had just started to post speed builds. And his very first project was kind of like, it was a big source of inspiration for me because I really loved how, I mean, that house is just beautiful. It looks so realistic. And I was like, you know what? I think I want to push myself to be a very detailed builder. I think that's what I want to do for my channel. And I had started off with a house in the similar, it is very similar to my first plot now. You'll see that in the farewell video if you watch that. But it was just way too much work, and I did not have the skills for it at the time. I was in way over my head, and I was like, you know what, I can't do this. This is way too much. So I scrapped that and did the Suburban Craftsman, and that one just, it just felt right. And I was like, you know what, this is good. This is the one. And I spent way too much editing. I wanted to, my biggest advice if you are planning on starting a YouTube channel is give yourself every reason to be called underrated. That was my goal. I want people to look at my work and look at my channel and say, how is this so small? How is this so unsuccessful? That was my goal. I feel like I've achieved that much more with my recent builds than my first few, but it is in relativity. The stuff that I was doing when I had 60 subscribers was like, this is far beyond a channel of just 60. And the same could be said for now. I personally think that I'm at a happy place. I'm glad to be ending at 4,300, 4,400. It's way more than I thought I'd get. But I feel like that was my dream from the beginning. Just a couple thousand subscribers, that is more than I ever could have wanted. And just enough to have a small audience, some regular viewers, and just a platform to where I can do these videos and I can do these recordings and people will actually watch them instead of posting a part 3 of a video and it got 4 views in a week. But I think all of my work into the Suburban Craftsman, the cinematic preview is horrible because I was not holding down the shift button, so all of the spins are really, really fast and they make me nauseous. But other than that, the actual video quality itself of the tour and all of that, I think it holds up decently. And for my very first video, I'm still more than happy with it. And if you are planning on doing this, or you just want to, make your first video something that you will be proud of now, that you will be proud of later, and try to make it of the caliber of someone who's been doing them. Try to make it look professional. And it's easier said than done, but whether that's watch videos on how to use editing software properly, or how to take screenshots, or there's so many different factors of going in. But for me, it was a lot of trial and error, and I've eventually figured out like how to do this. And there's always the excuse of, oh, well, this person, they know how to do this stuff better than me, or I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I didn't know how to do any of this either. I just said, what the heck, let's figure it out. And I just can't encourage it enough that if you have any part of you that wants to do this and you have the time and energy for it, go for it. It's a lot harder than it seems, and it's a lot easier than it seems. There's no like secret sauce or some way to, like, a life hack, how to hack it. There are people who have managed to figure out the algorithm. I am not one of those people. But just make yourself do something you're proud of. Do something, or make something that you would want to watch if it was made by another person. If you can sit down and watch your own videos and actually enjoy them with the same enjoyment as another builder, that should be the goal. That was my goal. Heck, I have no shame. I've sat down and watched my videos back countless times. I'll be sitting there eating lunch at the kitchen table, and I'm watching the suburban family estate video and listening to the voiceover. Because I've done work that I'm proud of. It is of the quality that I'm proud of. It is of the... Why does iMovie want to access my documents folder? Sure. Okay, is this still recording? It is. Well, I don't know why iMovie wants my documents folder, but okay. There's nothing in there. It's just The Sims 4. Which, now that I'm thinking about that, I have, like, the what am I doing past YouTube. In the 11 months that I was gone, I've gotten big into The Sims 4, which I've had The Sims 4 since it went free, which was in October of 2022. I currently have 621 hours on the game, so that's fun. And I feel like I can justify spending time in that game more, because for one, you can build with infinite money. That alone was enough to tempt me. And there were it's a bit harder to figure out, but once you figure it out, it's a bit easier to build in The Sims. You can make something look realistic with a little bit less effort. Plus, I can actually make Sims and use my house. I talked about this in the last voiceover, actually. But if I manage to still, like, post pictures of content, more about that in the farewell, but long story short, I'm considering bringing back an Instagram account, because I deleted mine, so I'd have to make a new one. And to continue posting pictures of my work as I still do architecture related stuff, so be it The Sims 4 or in Minecraft, because I have a Minecraft world that is going on. Let's see, I started it in 2023, I think. That would be 2 years now. Yeah, it was 2023. And I'm approaching 2,000 days played on it. I have an entire city built. There's like the mega city, there's smaller cities. I've done a ton of work on there. So if you're interested in that, there's the fridge again, it's back. But if you're interested in that, I can post pictures of that, Sims 4. And if I still play Bloxburg, because I might have time to, it is so much more fun to build without having to record, because I can just take as much time as I want on something, and I can completely change it up without worrying about, okay, people are going to get mad at this. You have to figure out what you want to begin with. And like that was something that sunk in when I was doing this, is everything I would do, it was just the fear of messing up, because if I change this, someone's going to get mad at me, and I can't have Love You Unicorns 14 getting mad at me for redoing the couch cushions, or the roof on the Craftsman mountain home. If you've complained about the roof, you know your crime, because I had to suffer through that roof. I'm at 47 minutes now. Wow. It is 10:48, and I would like to go to bed at a decent time because I start school in 2 days. I don't really want to go though. This has grown to be something that I look forward to doing, that I've enjoyed, that I've hated at times. Absolutely, I loathe doing this, I don't know. It's weird. Because I started this with no ambition. I started this channel about 15 feet from where I'm sitting. It was at my desk. I've just moved it since then, and I'm bringing it to a close here. It's sad because the farewell video is done. This voiceover is the very last piece that I need to do, because I've already made the thumbnail. I've already done everything, and I just want to leave. I want to leave something meaningful. I don't want to just fade out, because I went back on LookIOcast to see if he had made any sort of video, and he hasn't posted in. Well, while I'm thinking about that, let me go in. Where is it? Alright, fine, I'll just search it up. No, it's not sleep time. He hasn't posted a new video in... It was January 2nd of last year, so we're going on a year and a half. And he just kind of dropped off. And that was the very thing that I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to just fade out into nothing. Even though like he has no loose ends, like his last project is finished. It was just a commentary video, that was the last one. But I wanted to actually make an exit instead of fade away. And yeah, I feel like I haven't really deserved the right to do this, or like I haven't earned it. But like I said, I'm doing this for myself as much as I am for you. Because oh, dang, why does my AirPods kept connecting to my computer? Sorry, I'm still a hopeless train wreck. But I just wanted to leave something of meaning when I go, instead of fading out into nothing. But now that I'm doing this, it's bittersweet. I'm going to absolutely enjoy having... Don't get me wrong, I've absolutely loved doing this. If I could go back and do it again, I would have done some things differently. But I would do it all over again. I just think at this current point in my life, I've outgrown it. It's not a Bloxburg thing or an architecture thing, it's a me thing. This is not something I want to be doing anymore. It's not something I'm going to be doing anymore. And that, even though I'm dead set on ending this, I'm still sad to see it go. And I don't know what else to say. I'm not an overly emotional person, and by that I mean I am a brick wall. I show nothing, I feel nothing. But it's such a bittersweet moment. And I know I'm just saying nothing at this point, but I don't want to end this recording because it means it's over. And I mentioned earlier I'm a Linkin Park fan. One of their songs, Until It's Gone, on the album The Hunting Party from 2014. It's the one with the dude in the arrow. Underrated album. A lot of the songs on there are kind of misses, but if you find the good ones, that's actually not a bad album. The lyrics of the main melody is, "You don't know what you've got until it's gone. It's your battle to be fought, because you don't know what you've got until it's gone." And I feel like I really understand that right now, because I have groaned and mumbled over doing this for the past year now. Oh, I really need to post these parts. Ugh, why haven't I posted them sooner? Ugh, I need to post this. And now that I'm actually finishing it, I recognize the value in this. This has been my platform to share all of my creations, and it still just blows my mind that there are people out there who actually want to see what I've built. That is still just mind-blowing to me. So thank you. I can't stress that enough. And if any of you feel feel like seen by me right now. Because I know whenever there's someone with a really large following, you just kind of feel like a number, and that you don't actually really matter. If any of you here are listening to this, you matter to me. I'm so, thank you so much for listening. I can't express how much that means to me, that you're actually just here listening to me ramble. That is mind-blowing. So thank you. It's, wow. I know I'm doing a whole big farewell video, but this is my true farewell. So yeah, I think I'm really leaning in towards the idea of doing a new Instagram account, because after I've gone back, and because I've spent like a week and a half, 2 weeks on doing all of this stuff, that I don't think I'm ready to fully go just yet. I think I want to still be able to post my content to you all, but I know that it's just this specific style that I'm just done recording. I'm not gonna do this anymore. But if we're at 1 hour and 21 minutes, if you're still here, that takes dedication. That takes some level of dedication. So thank you. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here, because I got nothing else to say, and I want to go to sleep. So thank you so much if you've been here just a little bit, if you've been here forever. You know what, while I'm here, I want to give some special shout outs. I did my scripted thanks and the final thanks, but if you're still here at 1 hour 20, you've earned an unscripted thanks. First off, I want to thank TrimFim. You've been my biggest fan since like day 4. I think I had like 52 subscribers or so when TrimFim first joined, and this man commented on all of my videos, like every single time I'd post, it'd be there. And it was just that level of support so early on, it meant so much to me, and I cannot express how grateful I am for that, because it really helped me to justify continue posting when I had some success in my first few videos, but after that I really just couldn't find that same level again. But you helped motivate me to continue to post, and I wouldn't be here without that. I want to thank Lola as well for the same reason. Your nice and kind comments on all of my videos always like TrimFim, it just kept to encourage me, and just knowing that someone actually wanted to see what I posted, it means so much still. And thank you again for the Discord server, because there are a handful of people in the Discord server that made it such a headache, but those of you that made it an enjoyable place where we could share our ideas and talk about just random stuff, thank you so much, because that specific server was another dream of mine, to just have a little community of my own that we all could just share our work with each other. So yeah, KW Builds, Kevin, I'm sorry we never did that collab. So another little fun bit of lore. Back in October of 2022, when KW Builds first started posting, I sent him a message on Discord and was like, hey, do you want to do a collab? Because I had maybe like 400 subscribers at the time, he had like 200, and he was like, alright, but because we literally live on complete opposite ends of the world, and our schedule's not lining up, that it's been almost 2 years, it's been almost 3 years now, and that collab never happened. So I'm sorry that we never got around to that, but thank you for agreeing to it. That meant so much to me in the moment, that there was someone else who would actually want to work on a build with me, so thank you. Thank you to Alex for being my very first build request that actually came to fruition, because I had a couple before that, but you actually stayed committed, and like we actually made that build and it came to fruition, and now that video is one of my most popular ones, so thank you. And thank you also for the Discord server, and for you Levi and TrimFilm and Kevin. Y'all have been the dream team of the entire time I've been doing this. That group of us and our little Discord server where the picture is the super blown up of my cat's face. That summer 2023, y'all really helped me through it, because it was mentally I was in a very rough place, but you four during that summer, it really helped me get through that, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you, of course, to all my friends I know in person. If you're watching this, first off, why? But second off, thank you, because that just means a lot that you actually wanted to support me. And yeah, I'm trying to think. I think I'm done. So, wait, did I start this video off with a hello? Oh, I don't remember. Hello if I didn't do it at the beginning. But yeah, just thank you again. Thank you for 3 years that were been way beyond my expectations. Thank you for all the support on allowing me to do commentary videos. That was another goal of mine. And thank you for being patient with me while I took 11 months to post a video. Like y'all were there as soon as the video posted. Like it posted, and then minutes later I was getting notifications of comments. That is insane dedication. To just stick around for that long. So yeah, it means a lot. And I'm gonna go now. I might be back eventually, but for now, this is it. So thank you and goodbye.